Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. For those of you that have been following the channel for a while, you know we've been working to get Mike's S14 back out on the road. Yeah, it's been a bit of a journey. There's been numerous issues that we found and have been fixing because the previous owner either A, didn't know what they were doing or just half-assed everything, and we want to do everything the right way. At the moment, we are in the process of redoing the timing on the car. We also did a head gasket. And we ran into some issues where the car didn't want to run properly after we did that. We discovered that we actually missed one of the sensors. We clipped that in. It's still having issues. I believe I determined then that because the car's been sitting for so long that the ECU has probably lost all of its memory because the battery has been dead. So we wanted to drive the car to see if the ECU can relearn the fuel curves and basically get the car back to running condition. However, we discovered an issue when we attempted to take it for that test drive. And that is the car didn't want to stop, which is kind of important if you don't want to die. So we decided to take a look at the brakes, and the brakes were pretty much just rusted and pitted. I guess the car had been sitting for a year. I didn't realize it had been that long. It felt like it was just a couple months. So we decided to swap out the rotors and pads, but Mike was still having the same issue where the car didn't want to stop. We were also losing brake fluid and couldn't figure out where. Well, we finally found it, and it was one of the rear calipers. It's actually leaking fluid. So we thought we would just go ahead and do a rebuild on the caliper until Mike discovered that buying just brand new calipers is the same cost as buying a rebuild kit. So we decided to save ourselves some headache and possible operator error and just bought brand new calipers. So we're going to be installing those today for the rear. He also decided to upgrade to steel braided brake lines because, well, we're going to be there anyways, might as well. So that's what we're going to do today. Basically do the complete rear brakes. The front calipers, if we want to get new front calipers, are just really expensive right now. Not something I don't think he needs. So unless doing what we're going to do right now doesn't fix the problem, there's no reason to mess with the fronts. And then we're going to finally take it for a drive and see if we can't get the ECU to relearn the fuel curve so the car actually runs as it should. However, two things before we get started. One, if you do want to see more automotive, particularly GTR, and of course S14 content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And two, if you'd like to support the channel, I do have the JD Archer shop. If you go to jdarcher.bigcartel.com, you can see a limited selection of t-shirts I've designed that are for sale. But with that out of the way, start taking the car apart. All right, so as you know, before you jack up any car, you always want to bust the lug nuts loose. In this particular instance, you have the e-brake for the rear, so it's not as big of a deal, but if it was the front, as soon as you jack it up, there's no pressure on the tires, it just spins on you. So always make sure you break loose your lug nuts first. All right, so just to kind of show you where we're at. So here's the caliper right here. And of course, here's the brake line that we're going to be replacing. We're gonna have to pull this clip right here and then break this loose. So it should be a quick, easy job. Now the hard part is gonna be back here, resetting the e-brake. But other than that, all you gotta do is remove this bolt right here, this bolt right here. This is all gonna come off. There's two more bolts. There's like one right here. There's another one down here, then the whole mechanism comes free, and then we can take off the e-brake and then the brake line, and we're ready to put the new one on. All right, so the first bolts are gonna be 14s. A little bit of percussive persuasion. Falling off is not a good thing. Is the e-brake on right now? right, so basically what I've done is I've disconnected the e-brake. So it pretty much connects here like this, and then this kind of grips right in here. And then there's a little clip right here that you just have to kind of get off. I just used a flathead and worked this way up till it got clear. So now it's pretty much good to go. So what we're gonna do, take off this clip right here to basically free up this line. Then we're gonna have to use 2 different wrenches to break the line, and then quickly install the steel braided line and the new caliper. So that's next on the agenda. So just as a note, when you break the brake line loose, I guess you can't really see it. So just as a note, when you break the brake line loose right here, you're gonna wanna use 2 wrenches. So for the top 10 millimeter, I kind of prefer using a line wrench. So as you can see, it's kind of grips it a little bit better. And then the bottom one, it's just kind of got 2 flat pieces and then rounded here. So I just used a basically a monkey wrench. So you basically brace the top, or the bottom, and you turn the top and it breaks loose, and you should be good to go. Mike is currently locking on the steel braided line for the new caliper, and we're about ready to make the switch. It's probably gonna be a little bit messy. Once you're ready to put the new caliper on, you're gonna make sure you transfer this bracket over from the original. The reason why is this is where it holds the e-brake cables. So you wanna definitely make sure you transfer this over. I tightened it as best I could out of the car, but once actually I lock everything down, I'll go through and make sure everything's torqued down properly, because it's easier to do when it's on the car. So we got the original bolts. So now we're just gonna try and thread this through. All right, so got the bolts tightened down for the calipers, now attached to the body. Got the e-brake all hooked up. I put the clip back in, so the e-brake is now in there nice and tight. So all we have left to do is hook up the brake lines. So this is going to be fun. There we go. On the upside though, this one actually has a normal hookup, so you can use a normal wrench instead of what I was using. That's actually kind of encouraging. The line is started. Let's go ahead and slide the clip in first. All right, so that clip is now in place. Oh, nice. I didn't even need to brace that. The clip alone has sufficient force to keep it from rotating. All right, this side should be done. All right. Okay, so now we need the retainer springs. All right, so we went and did the other side off camera because there's no reason to show you the exact same thing a second time. So pretty much everything's all hooked up now. We got the new caliper, we got new rotors, we got new pads, we got new steel braided brake lines, and we hooked up the e-brakes. So we're pretty much good to go, and we're gonna go ahead and bleed the brakes. Now, last time we tried to use my Mighty Vac and it just wasn't working. Then again, it was probably like 10 some odd years old. So Mike bought a new one, we're gonna try that. So the idea behind it is you put the hose onto the bleeder valve, which is right here. You put some vacuum on it, you open the lines, the vacuum should suck the fluid through. As the vacuum starts to die down, you close down the line, you put some more vacuum, you keep doing that, and you keep going until you don't see any bubbles left in the line. if we run into the issue last time where that just doesn't work, we're just going to use the old school version where we, have someone sit in the car, pump up the brakes a couple times, hold, crack open the line, pedal goes to the ground, pushes the fluid through, and you do that until you stop seeing bubbles. So that's the current plan. Could come through that didn't have a whole bunch of bubbles in it. All right, go ahead and pump it up. You know what I think it is? Even when I close it down, I'm still seeing bubbles come in, so the hose might not be sealing properly, so it's difficult to know if there's bubbles coming through or not. Because even though like you're not pumped up, yeah, like see, like if you look right here, if you look at the hose, you can still see bubbles. See them right there? So I think the other brake bleeder might be the better way to figure out what's going on. All right, so update, using the vac just wasn't working because it was difficult to see when the bubbles start and stop. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the hoses supplied and this container. And so what we do is we just kind of put this end in the hose. All right, go ahead and pump it up. See, we're seeing bubbles. That makes sense because there's bubbles in the line. All right, pump it up. Still saw a few bubbles coming out there. Ooh, that was a good sized bubble. Good thing we did it again. All right, go for it. So I'm still seeing micro bubbles coming out through the line, so that's why I'm still going. Okay, I think that pretty much probably did it. All right, so we're good on this side. Now we just go do the same thing on the other side, and then we're still gonna have to do the front too, so that's where we're at. All right, so we did the other side. We're all sorts of good. We're gonna put the wheels back onto the rear, and then we're gonna do the fronts, and we should be good. I don't think I talked about this at the beginning of this video. I did in the last video, but whenever you bleed brakes, you always start at the brake that's farthest from where the master cylinder is. So in this particular instance, the master cylinder is in the front driver's side. So we did the rear passenger side, rear driver side, then we're gonna just do the front passenger side, front driver side, and that should probably do it, and we should be all sorts of good on the brakes. Here we are back in the ugly kitchen. I had a bit of camera issues. Basically, the Pocket 3 did an update and it messed with some of my settings and some stuff was lost, and now it has new features where if you hit something too long, it deletes a file, but you really don't care about that. You want to know what happened to the car. Basically, we finished the brakes. So the car's got new rotors all the way around. It's got new pads all the way around. The calipers on the rear are new. It's got steel braided brake lines on the rear. The fronts just came in, so we will be doing the fronts. We haven't done them yet. But basically, we've got everything put back together and started to drive the car, and the brakes still didn't work that well. One of the theories that we have now is that because the engine isn't running right, it's not getting enough vacuum to the brake booster, so we're not getting the pressure we need to properly stop the car. So that's where we're at right now. The master cylinder doesn't seem to be a problem because the brake pedal's not going all the way to the floor. So it leads me to believe it's something else. I mean, we do have new pads, new rotors, new calipers on the rear. So really, brake system's not very complicated. There's not going on there, so we should get that figured out. On the upside, we may have finally figured out why the car is not running right. And it appears we have a pretty big vacuum leak on the intake plenum. So as you saw, we were doing a head gasket on the car, and when we put everything back together, it wasn't quite running right. First issue we had was that we missed the NOx sensor plug, so we fixed that. Still didn't quite fix the issue. We ran a smoke test on the car, and there's a pretty big leak at about the number 1 runner on the intake manifold. So what we've done now is we've actually ordered a thicker intake gasket. My theory is, I mean, that car is just so beat to hell, and who knows what the previous owner did, that maybe the intake runner basically warped with the head at some point due to heat. And then when we changed out the gasket, something shifted, so it's not lining up right. So we got a thicker gasket to see if we can basically close that up and see if that's really the issue. Mike went out there, ran the car, sprayed some carb cleaner around, and sure enough, when he hit the number 1 runner, the car started to run a little bit differently. So we have a pretty big leak there. So we've already ordered the thicker gasket. It is here. So in the future, we will be seeing if we can fix that. And then if we get the car idling properly, running properly, timed properly, see if that fixes our brake issues. So, I mean, this is your typical project car situation. So that's where we're at right now. I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go hit that thumbs up button to let us know. It does help the channel out a lot. As I did say at the beginning of the video, if you'd like to see more automotive, particularly GTR and S14 content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on all forms of social media, which include Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. There'll be links for those in the description down below. Now, after watching this video, if you have any questions, if you're thinking about doing brakes yourself on your S14, you feel there's anything we missed, something we did done better, go ahead and post in the comments section down below. I will respond to you. I thank you all for watching, and until next time, forget everything else, focus on the finish line.